Welcome to the Melbourne SKYFARM. I am so excited about what I've got to show you today. This was a car park, a rooftop car park in the heart of the CBD. It has been transformed into an urban farm that is producing a crazy amount of food. I've been given a sneak peek today. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. And I've got a few experts here that are going to teach us all the tricks of the trade.
Look at the color. It's insane. You think like, just go 60 stories down and you're in the middle of Melbourne, it's busy, hustle bustle and traffic and everything drives you crazy. And then you come up here and it's just like a little Zen garden, And I'm the only person up here, just me and the birds. So I love it. A couple of Romanesco coming into fruit now. So they are a cross between broccoli and cauliflower.
They look amazing.
Yeah, same family, so different variety.
What's the best way to cook with these?
Oh, it depends. I like just to saute them with butter.
Yeah.
Add the lid on top, and then the steam creates, basically cooks it itself.
Yeah.
And just with salt and pepper. Golden globe beetroots. In between the beetroots, I have some spinach coming up as well, just to utilize the space a bit more.
Last year we had 2 seagulls nesting close to the door and raised a chick. This year
we have blackbirds just here, feeding the young with my worms.
I think it symbolises hope. Despite what we do to the earth and to nature, it's always got that capacity to carry on, to continue on, and baby birds show that.
So to put into perspective where we are, we're currently in the Docklands, right on top of a tall building. We've got the Yarra River down there and the convention centre just over there.
The City of Melbourne, through their Urban Forest Fund, have done a fantastic job trying to encourage green spaces within our city. So they were one of the contributors to SKYFARM, so they contributed $300,000 in terms of a matching grant to get us up to the stage that we're at the moment.
Carrots here, some are ready to go.
Oh wow.
Forage, also completely eatable. The bees love it. Tastes like a cucumber in a way.
It's very. Such a surprise.
What's it taste like?
I don't know that I'd get cucumber,
No?
but it's fresh. It's nice.
It's medicinal as well. I think it's good for the blood flow.
Uh-huh.
All kind of things. So yeah, really good all around the plant to have in the garden. We got a couple of fruit trees around here, some pears, citrus, that's a mandarin, more pears.
The calendulas are these plants over here. They're good for skin irritations.
These are nasturtiums as well, a really good plant to have because not only they are growing prolifically as a ground cover, they smell good, the plants look, the flowers look really nice,
Beautiful.
and the whole plant is eatable, so you can just
How do you eat it?
just like that.
In a salad?
Yep, salad, garnished.
Can I try?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's quite it's actually lovely. It's very fresh.
Yep.
Definitely peppery.
Yep.
The Melbourne SKYFARM is already producing more than a ton of food every year. Currently, most of that is going to Oz Harvest, which is a charity providing food to people in need.
All the stuff is going to Oz Harvest as a donation to their charity, and occasionally we can take some stuff as home as well.
And so how much are you producing at the moment?
At the moment it's hard to say, but overall we produced over 1.6 tons of produce in 18 months.
Any rough estimation how many people that could feed?
Yes, about 2,100 people at the moment, because we just got the data a weeks ago from Oz Harvest.
From a car park.
From a car park.
For now, this space is closed to the public, but before too long, hopefully sometime next year, this space will open to the public and anyone can come through here. There'll be a cafe where you can sit and have a cuppa. There'll be a bar where you can sit and have something a little bit stronger if you want to, and even space for the kids to play.
There's a great view out here from the top of SKYFARM. So can you imagine coming up here with a group of friends, sitting, having a couple of drinks and then looking out over the river as the sun goes down in the evening? When it is open to the public, it's going to be free to come in here. You'll be able to grab yourself a coffee, sit down with your friends, have some cake, and just be surrounded by nature.
In the meantime, urban farmer Andre Brodmerkel and Darren Varney from Food Cube by Biofilta are going to take us for an exclusive look at just how they get these veggies so strong and healthy.
Before we move on, just a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button too, that helps other people find this video. It's a little way to support a small channel.
So the farm up here is using food cubes. So food cubes are a wicking garden bed. Essentially what that means is you've got the soil up on top, a big deep soil reservoir which is 35 mil deep, and then below that you have a water reservoir. So over summer it means you only need to water your food cube once a week, and over winter you may go several months without needing to water it at all. What that means to a plant is they never get too wet or never get too dry. So they're sitting in this Goldilocks zone where they've always got the right amount of moisture for them to thrive. The Sustainable Landscape Company did the design up here and the build. So they've covered the food cubes in radial cut timber and in the Core 10 steel cladding. So we've got over 200 food cubes up here. They're not all growing food. Some of them have got some just beautiful plants in them, but each one of those can grow about 20 kilos of food per annum. So this is a 3-bay composting system.
Hot composting involves different, you need a certain amount of carbon and nitrogen, and that together creates a habitat for bacteria, and the bacteria break down the substances and create heat. You can see it's very warm when you go in here. Once you put your hand in there.
Oh yeah, it's cozy.
That's the hot composting system, which I prefer to do because I know then everything is breaking down, everything is digested, the weed seeds are killed, and also the pathogens are killed. Eventually, once the whole thing cools down and matures, then you can add worms, and they're finishing off. The bad bacteria gets killed off, weed seeds get killed off, but the good stuff survives.
So we've got food cubes down here that we're using as giant worm farms.
Yeah. So what started as an experiment turned out to be very good. I like to have the worm pumps here because they're continuously breaking down the farm material and give me liquid fertilizer as well as vermiculite. So first you can see here, they're all covered up. So the deeper you go, the more worms you got. And all these is highly fertile vermiculite. You don't need much for your garden beds. So that's basically a super high-end fertilizer.
And so what have you put in here?
Basically everything that's plant-based I put in here. Nothing too much of onion and citrus, and no any animal products. You could say it's a vegan compost. And what I do in the end is I water it down, and then a couple hours later just capture the worm tea.
Wow.
And look at the color. It doesn't smell. It doesn't, it's really just good stuff. And I water it down a little bit as well with water. And as you can see, my watering cans, and I just give it a top watering over the leaves as well, because the leaves absorb a certain amount of nutrients directly. And the rest goes in the soil.
What we're trying to show is that you're going to have a model where you can actually grow the food where it's being consumed. You can compost it, feed that back into the system to then grow more food. So we designed this greenhouse cover to essentially extend your growing season and allow you to grow tomatoes much earlier in the season and keep them growing much later.
Wow.
These are more to keep grubby pests out of our food.
I was actually wondering, do the possums find you up here?
Not yet. Don't tell them.
But these nets will keep possums out. I've got possums, rats, bats, birds, slugs and snails that try and attack my stuff. And this netting system will keep all of that out.
Yeah.
So if people are at home and they want these nets, they can get them?
They can get them on the Food Cube website, that's right.
Do you get bees up here?
Bees, it was amazing. Within 3 weeks of the garden being built, I was up here again and I noticed bees everywhere. So as soon as the sun comes out, we've got bees on the flowers that are pollinating, and it's just magic to watch.
I like to grow fennel here, not just for us to eat, But also they love, like, ladybugs love being on that and feasting on some aphids.
Oh, we love the ladybugs.
Yeah, I got tons of ladybugs up here thanks to like aphids jumping on this guy very shortly, and then ladybugs come in and increase the whole population of ladybugs itself. We're experimenting with a lot of different plants up here, so what else we can get away with planting and growing. We got these wasabi plants like about 3-4 weeks ago, and I know everybody's saying that we have to put them in running water and cold water and all such things, but I said, like, okay, let's see how our system works, and they seem to be so far pretty healthy.
So is this the same wasabi that you have on sushi?
Yes, that's the real wasabi.
Tell me about the soil. What soil do you use and how do you keep it so luscious?
So the base of the soil is all here is our special mix from BioGrow, which has a high amount of scaria in there and also coconut coir, just to help the whole wicking mechanism, and also at the same time to keep the pores open so there's airflow in the soil as well. Otherwise the things go aerobic and then things die really quickly. How I keep it fertile? Well, I do my own compost. That's one thing. I try to keep everything organic as possible. I like to encourage worms up here, like just garden worms, because they're turning over everything constantly and munching and breaking down their compost as well. I use some organic fertilizers, just a little backup, especially in between seasons when I just had like a massive crop of heavy feeders, and then apply compost to prepare the soil for the next one.
What we're looking to do is inspire a whole series of sky farms to be built. We're trying to inspire people to get back to urban farming. Even if you're on a balcony, just having a few pots with some plants is a great start and is going to encourage nature to come into your environment.
Especially in our very, very busy environment. I mean, everybody's busy nowadays, it's insane. And everybody should start growing something at home, like if it's food producing or ornamental, but sort of this connection is very meditative and good for your mental health as well.
Tell me about the other organisations involved.
Yeah, there's a coalition of, I guess you'd call them sustainable companies and organisations that are involved with Sky Farm. So there's Australian Ecosystems that grows on all the plants and employs the urban farmer that's up here. We've got the Sustainable Landscape Company that did the original design for Sky Farm and the construct and build. And we've got Food Cube. So it's the Food Cube systems that are used throughout the garden here that enables us to grow plants in such a hostile environment. There are also other organisations like Odnadata, who's a sustainable organisation focused on bringing back endangered animals. So they're working with the eastern barred bandicoot at the moment, breeding those in captivity and then releasing them into the wild.
If you love seeing what everyone else is growing around Melbourne and Victoria and want more great tips to help your garden to thrive, hit subscribe and check out my vegetable garden tours playlist. Happy gardening!